Anthony Richardson officially named the starter, plus Bears and Colts. Practice coming at you right now.
There's no better way to get better at football than playing football. So if you want to...
Taylor's going to finish it! I've always been confident in my abilities. I think, I'm a guy that can go out there, and I always believe in myself that I'm going to get open and make the play if they throw me the ball.
The third. Ryan, end zone shot for Pierce. He caught
it! Oh, what a... Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast. We are here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. Here's Jamal Lawrence, and I am Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast. Yo, shout out Colts Nation real quick. Shout out to everyone who's tuning in to us, who's still tuning, like from day one. You could be from day 30, day 364. Like, ladies and gentlemen, like, you guys are the best. And whatever you're trying to achieve in life, keep grinding. Don't let anyone or anything stop you. You guys are number one in our hearts. Stay with the grind. Jamal, let's get started.
Let's go ahead and get started, man. I want to start off, Eric, just let everybody know y'all can see it's a little different for me today. I had to use my phone to record, but it's all good. We want to bring you all that content day in and day out.
And on the grind.
That's right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So let's give a shout out to Manscaped here. So today we're here with a sponsor for your balance and bundle of joy. No, we're not talking about baby. We're talking about your baby makers. That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. But just like babies, your delicate little guys have sensitive skin and deserve products that are not only skin safe, but made with safe ingredients. That's where Manscaped's Platinum package comes in. From razors to shower care, this package goes above the gold standard for your body hair. So treat yourself and your beautiful boys to the world's finest toys at manscaped.com and use our code COLTSCAST for 20% off plus free shipping. The Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. They designed this package to allow you to fully align your entire hygiene routine with elite products. Inside this Platinum Package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, Ultra Platinum Premium Body Wash, and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo plus Conditioner, Ultra Premium Deodorant, Crop Preserver, Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver, Ball Spray Toner, Anti-Chafing Boxers, and the Shed Travel Bag to hold your goods while traveling. Lawnmower 4.0 Body Trimmer and Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Treatment feature proprietary advanced skin safe technology to protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof so you can shave with less mess. Platinum Package 4.0 covers all bases from head to toe and hair to ball fro. I can tell you, Eric, I use this thing all the time. Just got back from vacation. I showed everybody last time the bag. That thing is so convenient, especially going through the airport. So go ahead and jump on that. You can get that 20% off and free shipping with the code COLTSCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code COLTSCAST. Use the Platinum Package because the gold standard is no longer good enough.
All right, guys, look, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. If you've been living under a rock, let us break the news to you. Head coach Shane Steichen named Anthony Richardson the starting quarterback for week 1 regular season. Wow. Man, so he saw one game and he said, yo, that's our quarterback. He said, that's our guy. Wasted no time. After his, better than reported performance against the Bills last week, I think the box score only tells one side of the story. As you remember, he completed 7 to 12 passes for 67 yards, 0 touchdowns, although he should have had one if Pierce would have reeled that thing in. 1 interception while rushing twice for 7 yards. Again, that number is 3 rushes for 20 yards without a penalty. So, Jamal, what's your thoughts on the announcement? Where were you when you heard it? Were you as ecstatic as I was?
Man, I was so ecstatic. Actually, I was at the gym when I heard it, and my first thought was, man, Shane Steichen trusts him. He trusts him based off of his growth, not only in that game, but what we've seen on the field and what we haven't seen in the locker room. I mean, I would imagine that his growth and progression since walking in that building has skyrocketed, which would put Shane Steichen, a rookie head coach himself, in a position to go ahead and make that call for Anthony Richardson to be the starter. I mean, from what I've seen, Eric, I think it's safe to say that he's the hardest worker there. But I know what we're not seeing is that he's an even harder worker than what we think. I mean, we've seen the reports. We've read the reports about how he knows the playbook inside now, how he grinds. He's the first one in there. He's ready. I mean, at the Buffalo preseason game, he was the first person on the field. And I'm sure some of that's just that initial NFL jitters, want to be that first person, out there. But the bigger part of that is I think that's just his normal personality. He wants to be that guy. He wants to show y'all that he can come out here and elevate this team. And I would imagine that not only Shane Steichen is standing behind him, but the rest of the crew is behind him as well. So it's time to go ahead and pass the torch to the young man and watch him develop as our quarterback of the future. Is our quarterback. And I know it's going to get wild out there on September the 10th. That's a couple weeks away. So we have to go ahead and have some fun today talking about this joint practice. But as we talked about before, guys, we already said if he was going to be the starter come September 10th, it was going to be nuts out there. Y'all better believe that place is about to be rocking 100 plus decibels.
You're about to be there, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be there. Oh, yeah.
God, man. Y'all got it lucky, man. I still, I need to order my tickets to the Panthers Colts game, but I'm definitely going to that one. We're trying to plan that trip now. But no, absolutely agree with you, Jamal. He needs the reps. He really does. What better way to get your inexperienced quarterback some experience? I think there's an argument with, let's sit the rookie, holding the clipboard, visually learn, take in everything. But also on the other side, there's another argument. Commit to your number 4 overall pick week 1 and let's start developing him. We have to build some consistency at quarterback. We've had a different starting quarterback week 1 for the past, 7-8 years, it feels like. Now, I'm tired of this quarterback carousel. Let's start the trend now where we have a starter there with the same name every single year for the future. It's time to see what our potential franchise quarterback can do. Believe a new era has begun, and it's the Anthony Richardson era. Insane upside player, and I'm trying to see all that upside. I want all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this has been great. Look, if you haven't also heard, guys, the Indianapolis Colts fell to the Buffalo Bills last weekend in that first preseason matchup. You should already know 19-23 final score isn't important right now. What's really important is the development of our players. We just talked about Anthony Richardson, but what about the rest of the team? Talked about that last episode. Now the Colts, as we're recording, I believe are concluding their first joint practice with the Chicago Bears. Joint practices seem to be the talk of the town nowadays during the preseason. Yeah, it's our chance to see our starters against theirs. It gets pretty feisty out there. It's not even regular season yet. They aren't lined up against their teammates either. They show probably some mercy to their teammates, but guy in a Chicago Bears uniform, I'm gonna eat him alive. So instead, Anthony Richardson gets to stare down the eyes of Yannick Ngakoue, a former Colt, or Tremaine Edmonds in coverage. All Bears players. He doesn't get to see his teammates. Our defense, they get a look at Justin Fields, DJ Moore and company. First practice I heard was pretty good, and we're about to get right into it. Jamal, where would you like to start?
Yeah, the first thing I want to start, Eric, is just addressing the biggest elephant in the room. We know that it has been reported that Jonathan Taylor is back in Westfield. However, we know that he was not at practice today rehabbing, but he was excused with some personal issues. I like to think that these must be some pretty serious personal issues for him to be excused. I know I've been seeing a lot of mixed emotions across Twitter, and it's been kind of interesting to see people just kind of retract their negative statements saying, oh, of course, this is what I expect. Once it came out that, these were personal issues and it was excused, and it could be a little more serious than what we think. So hopefully all is well with him. I can't say it enough. We need him on the field. I think it elevates the offense. But that's the first thing I want to talk about was just JT not being there again. I guess the better news is now I feel like everyone's kind of becoming used to this continuous saga, so it's not something where everyone's getting too worked up every time there's a new report. But we always want to keep that updated here for everybody listening in case you don't have the social media to listen to it.
I wonder if they're working on his contract.
Yeah, that's what I think, dog. I really think that this is all
they ain't working on his contract.
They got it going, dog.
No, I don't know. I feel like the Colts have the leverage in this situation. Maybe I'm wrong. But we just saw Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott get signed yesterday for what was it, 1 year deals worth about 8 million for Cook, and then maybe 7 or 6 for Elliott.
Yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot. So what does that do to the running back market? Of course, we knew they were going to get signed short-term deals. They're little older running backs. They're free agents, yada, yada. They're going to give them a 1-year tenure and say, all right, show us what you got. We'll see what we can do next time. It's almost like a franchise tag, except you're getting paid less money. But, they have to do what they got to do to get paid, and they get to work with it's Dalvin Cook with the Jets, Ezekiel Elliott with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So where's that leave Jonathan Taylor? I don't know. I ever since he said, I ain't never had back pain, I never heard that. I tuned off. Like because I don't know what's going on. I don't have straight facts. And I just said, whatever happens at this point. I'm assuming he's going to be on the team, day one. That's why we made that top 15 picture for the Colts. We asked everyone, will they be a top 15 offense in 2023? I put Jonathan Taylor in there because I'm assuming he's going to be in there. He's still with the team. He's rehabbing. But yeah, Jamal, I don't feel good about it.
I know, me either. And it's been interesting just because, I think that Steichen has a very good poker face. Ballard, just said yesterday, I believe it was, that we want to back at 100%, et cetera. So we'll talk about that then. But it's been not funny, but it's been interesting to see that Irsay has kind of stepped off social media about that stuff. And, of course, Taylor stepped off of social media about that stuff as well. So it's a little bit more in the wrap. So I think it's calmed down a little bit because of that, but it's also brought, in my personal opinion, it made it a little more interesting to me because now I kind of want to know what the backstory tells us. But neither here nor there. I do think he'll be in a Colts uniform this year. I don't know, again, how that'll work for him in the foreseeable future. But I think he sticks it out in the Colts uniform this year. They still got his banner up on the stadium, dog. They don't want him to go anywhere.
We'll see, man. Some standouts today. What did you see? I feel like we got to talk about your boy Josh Downs, right?
We got to, man. I've been telling y'all from day one, this guy has to be a starter. I knew that Isaiah McKenzie coming in, it was going to bring a little bit of competition. It's bringing a new level to that slot that Paris Campbell did not give us on the Colts, due to injuries and everything else led between them. But I tell you what, Josh Downs, these videos that I saw today of him, I mean, just catching like a 40, 50-yard bomb from Richardson like it's nothing. Breaking corners like it's nothing. Dude's footwork is immaculate. His speed is ridiculous. I mean, his route running, from what I've seen, look exceptional. Now, I think he's going to be a force, man. He's going to get that start. I mean, I know McKenzie was with the seconds or with the twos today. At least when I saw a little bit of film there, he was catching passes from Minshew. So I'm just assuming that he played the entire time with the seconds or the twos. So I think that Downs wants to show that he is that guy, and that's going to be a favorite target. I can tell you that much right now. I know, Michael Pittman Jr. is wide receiver 1. Pierce is the wide receiver 2. But I can tell you that speedy, that quick, especially when we talk about, which we'll get into a few minutes, about the offensive line, when we can see that there could be some potential regression there. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to have to get the ball out quick. And Downs is that guy to get that ball out quick and get those quick 3-4 yard pickups, 5-6 yard pickups, and convert that third down to a first down. So I'm excited to see what he can do, and I think he's going to elevate this and be that starter come week 1.
That's a very good point. We saw Anthony Richardson was in those quick passing snares. Got to get the ball out quick. What better than arguably our best route runner on the team? We talked about how he's going to be a route running wizard out the draft. I want to see him get drafted in the early second. He blessed us in the third round, and he just has that big playability as well. We talked about his contested catch rate. We haven't even seen that yet because he's not contesting catches. He's open all the time. He's making defenders look lost. And we actually saw against the Bills, Richardson targeted McKenzie at a high rate to start the game. Like that's what he felt comfortable with right there. So you insert Josh Downs into that role. Look, I don't know. He may lead the team in receptions this year. Might not be yards. Could still be yards too, but like we know Michael Pittman used to catch, 6 or 7 receptions a game on average. I don't know. Josh Downs might be taking a lot out of his production just because, Pittman didn't really have he didn't really have much competition, I'll be honest. And Josh Downs, I don't know, a dynamic playmaker. I just think what we've seen in camp, if that translates to the regular season, I don't know, man. We might our best receiver might be in the slot. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, agreed. Agree with that 110%. And I'm about it.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, I'm about it. 100%.
So, like, I'm just saying he's going to be that reliable pass catching option for Anthony Richardson. Sure, we're still going to take our deep ball threats, which Downs is actually pretty good at, stretching the field. So I don't know. It just seems like a match made in heaven, right?
Yeah, it does. And like I said, watching the videos today, I mean, it looks pretty evident that he's not afraid to run downfield and go for the deep ball. He's not afraid to, to go across the middle. And we talked about this during the episode, making our case for him. What he elevates and excels at is getting behind the linebackers, but staying in front of the safeties. So in kind of no man's land. And I think that's where he's really going to excel at, because there's not going to be a linebacker who's going to be quick enough to catch him. And if those safeties aren't down, if they're playing off, then I mean that's free pickings for him all day long, because Richardson can zip that ball. He can zip it over the top. We saw that with that pass to Granson last week. And
Granson,
yeah,
another guy that's trending up. But yeah,
and we saw just from the quick passes with McKenzie from him, McKenzie turning and sitting down real quick. He can get the ball to them and let the yards of the catch do the work for us.
Right. Kylan Granson's another guy. I don't know. He seems almost like the tight end one now, just because we got some on the shelf right now. But from what I've seen, like, he's really stepped up. I liked what I saw last year when him and Matt Ryan were connecting. But he seems like one of our best pass catching tight ends, if not the best, right?
Yeah, and he's like the smallest one out there too, which is wild.
Hey,
he came to fight. Yeah, he came to fight. Now I'm glad.
Anthony Richardson, according to George Bremer, he finished 15-19 in 11-on-11 work tonight. Converted a 4th and short pass to Josh Downs. See, like,
of course,
it's on time. Of course, it's Josh Downs. Like, so Richardson, I believe he threw an interception as well. It was another high ball, something we're seeing a lot of. He's throwing it way too high. I'm not a quarterback's coach or anything. I'm wondering if mechanics have anything to do with it, because he's said, like, we've seen it a lot now where a lot of his mistakes, Pittman called one, but he's not going to be able to catch it all the time against these tier A defenders, these tier A corner. Like, Anthony Richardson is going to have to put the ball in the right place. But I don't know. I'm seeing some consistency at some of the mistakes he's making. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I think with that, one thing I noticed in the preseason or in the Bills game for us, where those came from were rush throws where he was trying to make more of an athletic play, where he didn't step into the pocket. He just used that natural arm strength, which it has the ability to get there. But like you said, it needs to be an accurate ball. It can't sail over. So I think that's kind of where those issues come in. So I think him building the confidence of stepping into the pocket and trusting what's around him and giving himself just an extra second before he lets that ball go, instead of trying to just jam it out there whenever he can, or whether it's off the back foot or, on a rollout. Or stepping to the side before he gets hit, not so much rollout, because I think his rollout game looks pretty good. But stepping out to the side before he gets hit, think about where that placement is and anticipate where that receiver is going to be to put it in the most optimal spot. Because like you said, man, Pittman is tall, but against tier A, he ain't going to be able to do all that. And McKenzie's short, Downs is short, all these other guys are short, so we can't have ball sailing because that's free interceptions all day. Right.
But we know Josh Downs plays bigger than his size. So.
Oh, yeah.
Not even worried about that. Yeah, Richardson's our starter. I'm happy to see it. I know Braden Smith is back practicing today. That's really good, because what I saw from Blake Freeland is a rookie, and we need that veteran presence over there at right tackle as soon as possible. Now, I was a proponent of drafting Blake Freeland, based off his athleticism and things like that. But, day one starter, I don't think that ever came out of my mouth. So hoping Brady Smith can step back into that role. we can develop Blake Freeland, kind of like we did Bernard Ryman last year. He got better down the stretch. So that's what I'm looking for, just to be a swing tackle. So I'm really glad to see Braden Smith back. I think he's one of the most underrated players on this team. Doesn't get talked about enough. Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. He's one of the most consistent guys for us. And I'm glad to see him back as well. I even said during the draft episode when it came to Blake Freeland, I mentioned at some point maybe we could even entertain having him interchangeable with Ryman more so than Braden Smith, just because I knew the consistency. But like you said, he looks like a rookie, and that's what we expect. He's going to get those reps out there right now, just as a place filler. But I don't foresee him being a starter at any point. But speaking on the O-line, as you were just saying, it's good to see Braden Smith back, but we also saw Ryan Kelly, not there again, or he was out today. And then Will Fries got injured today. So that right guard spot, man. And so this is where I was just talking about with that short pass game, where I think Steichen kind of understands that the O-line is still not where it's not where it needs to be. So we won't always have time for these plays to develop. So they're trying to do that intermittent and shortened game a lot. Because Will Fries injured, I don't know how severe his injury is, but I think it said he had a wrap on his calf.
Yeah.
Now we have less depth at that right guard spot, and that has been plaguing us. It's been plaguing us. We've been mentioning, well, is Chris Ballard going to continue to get every single tight end that steps foot on the on the field, or are we going to go for right tackle? And we
tight end room is heavy.
Heavy. Teach one of them to play right guard. Like one of them go out there and play guard. But that's becoming an issue, and it makes me nervous just because, like I've always said, the offensive line, that's a 5-man group, guys. That's a 5-man group. If one part of that group is not right, it's hard for everything else to be cohesive because you're having to compensate for what's going on there. So we can't have that right tackle spot be that shallow, especially where we can have a potentially rocky Braden Smith if he's still injured going into week 1. Or we have an inconsistent Ryan Kelly, who we saw last season, who we still don't know if he's back to Ryan Kelly potential. So I think there's a lot to say with that. I'm not so much concerned with the left side. I know Ryman will step up more, and I would assume that Nelson has heard all the chitter chatter, and he wants to elevate his game and take it back to where he's been in the past. But that right side, the right side from center down, again, looking at Kelly off year, looking at the right guard spot who we still haven't addressed yet, and Braden Smith, who we need to make sure he's comfortable with who's beside him, because he has to be that anchor on that right side for us at the end of the day.
Are we about to put Danny Pinner up in there and Emil Ekiyor? We'll rotate out.
All right, yeah. We know what you said about Emil last week. We all saw the film.
Yeah. I don't know. They are hiring tight ends like we about to run 13 personnel all the time. We're about to have 3 tight ends out on every play. I don't know what's going on there. We do have some injuries in that group, but geez Louise. We got everybody up in there. I think we have like 9 tight ends now. So
dude, it's nuts.
Half of them will be cut. Yep. But look, I'm not gonna say anything. Anything else I missed?
No, man. It was an exciting day for the first day of a joint practice. I'm excited for what tomorrow can bring, but I'm most excited for Saturday because I envision that playbook's going to open up a little bit more now. For one, that Richardson has been named the starter, and for 2, because we're getting a chance to see, like you mentioned earlier, we're not going against ourselves. We're not going to see a scout team. We're going to see, that defense from another team, what we want to see, especially at Matt Eberflus defense, who we're all used to seeing. So I think it should be pretty interesting to see what happens if that playbook opens up a little bit more on Saturday. And maybe if they go an extra drive or 2, and we're going to see Josh Downs in that starting spot, you can mark it right here. So Josh Downs will be starting come Saturday and come week 1.
I think week 1 is definitely I don't know. Reggie Wayne ain't like Isaiah McKenzie that last game. I'm just say that on that interception. He wasn't messing with him, but we'll see. Yeah, don't forget, guys, Chicago Bears coming into our house Saturday, August 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be watching that game. Jamal,
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there.
Going. Yeah, I'll be watching that game from home. Dang, will I? I got some stuff to do Saturday. I'm going to make sure I'm still watching that game at some point. I hope you all are too. But anyway, thank you everyone for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. And we'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Guys, take care.
Take care.